The purpose of this tutorial is to instruct you on how to reduce the size of movie files to make them more compatible with posting and viewing on your websites. So being able to reduce the size of movies will decrease the load time on web pages. It will reduce the space occupied on your hard drive, and it'll make your professors and TAs happy. So you usually start with a TIFF style stack, and this is generally what you'll obtain when working with data in ImageJ. These tend to be large files. You can see here that the size of this particular stack is 146 megabytes. Now this would be difficult at best to post and view on a web page. So we want to reduce the size of this before we put it up. And this is how you'll go about doing that. So the first thing you'll do, working in Fiji or ImageJ, is choose File, Save As, Image Sequence. This will allow you to save your stack as a series of individual images, each image representing one of the time points in your stack. So now ImageJ will save it out for you, and when you look at your folder, you'll see all of the individual time points. Now select the QuickTime icon. Choose File, Open Image Sequence. And if you select any one of those frames and hit Open, QuickTime will open the entire sequence of images as one stack. Here, you have the option of changing the playback rate of what QuickTime opens up for you. A good rule of thumb is that the longer your movie, the faster you want it to play back. So for example, if you have a 15 to a 24-hour movie, you would probably want to choose something along the lines of 12 to 15 frames per second so that it doesn't take forever to view your entire movie. The smaller the number here, the longer it's going to take to play the whole movie. 6 is a good default choice. So now this is what QuickTime gives you initially. It looks very similar to the original TIFF that you were working with in ImageJ. Choose Window, Show Movie Inspector. This is where you can determine the size of your file in both megabytes and pixels. Notice here that we didn't lose much size with respect to megabytes. The original TIFF was about 146. This one is still 109. Still very large to post on a website. So we want to actually compress this now to make it much smaller and compatible for your websites. The first thing you can do is actually select the lower right-hand corner and physically drag your mouse to make the movie smaller in pixels. Notice the pixel values decreasing in the inspector window as the movie itself gets smaller. The smaller you make it, the smaller it will be in terms of megabytes. So once you think you have an appropriate sized movie for your website, you'll choose File, Export. Now click on Options. Here, you can actually look at the size in pixels, and you can look at things like the compression that you'll be using. The program defaults to H.264, which is generally a good codec to use. Here you have a variety of options. We haven't explored these in depth, but H.264 is one of the best. Now click OK. Choose an appropriate folder. Make sure it says Movie to QuickTime Movie. And then save. Now you may open up the movie that you created. Notice the serious reduction in file size. We went from about 100 megabytes to 352 kilobytes. This is a movie that will load very quickly and play very well on your websites.